They planned, first, to prepare the United States for foreign war under the guise of American defense. Second, to involve us in the war step by step without our realization. Third, to create a series of incidents which would force us into the actual conflict. These plans were, of course, to be covered and assisted by the full power of their propaganda. Our theaters soon became filled with plays portraying the glory of war. Newsreels lost all semblance of objectivity. Newspapers and magazines began to lose advertising if they carried anti-war articles. A smear campaign was instituted against individuals who opposed intervention. The terms fifth columnist, traitor, Nazi, anti-Semitic were thrown ceaselessly at anyone who dared to suggest that it was not to the best interests of the United States to enter war. Men lost their jobs if they were frankly anti-war. Many others dared no longer speak. Before long, lecture halls that were open to advocates of war were closed to speakers who opposed it. A fear campaign was inaugurated. Propaganda was in full swing.
But as we got closer to war, the domestic campaign launched against American citizens was ramped up. Books like Sabotage and Undercover were published, which painted everyone from Christians who criticized Jews to anti-war demonstrators as Nazis, and created an element of fear that a third column of Nazi agents were operating within the United States. This is not only absurd and almost laughable today, but the fact that many people accused of such are actually warning about the real threat operating within the United States, which was communism. And by the peak of escalation of the war, the Great Sedition Trial of 1944 was engineered by the American Jewish Committee, the ADL, and B'nai B'rith, whose intentions were to imprison anti-communist patriots, anti-war activists, outspoken Christian pastors, who were all being charged with plotting to establish a National Socialist form of government in the United States. Imagine that. Publishers, writers, preachers, mothers who were anti-war activists, and patriots who simply opposed FDR, all snatched up by the FBI from their homes and brought to Washington, D.C. to face charges of a Nazi conspiracy. What they all did share in common were publishing books and other materials which were critical of Jews. Essentially, that was their crime.